Welcome to Doctor Who Rewind.
Do you like Doctor Who, Tyrese?
No.
Me neither.
What's that? What's Doctor Who? We went to the pub yesterday. I'm sorry, I've just remembered this. It's really embarrassing. And you ordered some food. You ordered a little bit of pub food.
Yeah.
And one of the dudes who's behind the bar regularly served us. And I was in my own little world of being myself, which normally when there's customer service people around, I try not to be because I'm a fucking idiot. And so,
but on this day, you were like, I cannot restrain myself.
On this day, I just like he approached to put your food in front of you, and I was just like still saying whatever I was saying, regardless of whether he was there or not. And then I went, "Ooh, chippies!" Wrong move, because I don't know if you noticed.
Oh yeah, didn't he?
He walked away and he went, "Enjoy your chippies," and then fucked off.
Yeah,
and I have to look that man in the face every single fucking Sunday when we go to the pub. Or, after uni when we go to the pub. And I feel like next time I go, he's going to be like, "Oh, Chippy's guy." And I'm going to be like, "No, please don't." Yeah, I have so many horrible nicknames there already. Welcome to Doctor Who Rewind, an unofficial and unprofessional rewatch podcast where I, Tyrese, and my friend Katie... Hello! Watch and discuss episodes of Doctor Who, starting with a revival in 2005. Once we complete that, we'll backtrack to the 60s and talk about classic Who. In between seasons, we'll discuss extended media, things like books, games, Big Finish, audio adventures. Hello!
Hi.
I don't breathe.
No.
It's just a... it's just a stream. It's like what's a constant thing that never ever stops? Oh yes, your grinding voice when you're in conversation. Hi Katie, did you enjoy this episode of Doctor Who?
No.
I
was enjoying things till now, and then you really just knocked the wind out of my sails. This episode of Doctor Who.
Yes.
Boy, was it an episode of Doctor Who?
It certainly was.
Both watched.
I wasn't a huge fan in general of this one. It's an hour where I could say about 15 minutes worth of things happen within this hour.
I don't think this is a bad episode at all. However, I think it is boring.
Yes.
And I don't love it.
Do you think boring is worse than bad though?
I absolutely think boring is worse than bad.
Well then, there we are. We have a synopsis, yes? It's Christmas Eve on the Powell estate, and Jackie and Mickey are drawn to the TARDIS as it crashes in the street. The Doctor appears, wishing them a Merry Christmas, and then stumbling and collapsing. Rose exits the box to confirm that is, in fact, the Doctor. They take the Doctor to the TARDIS flat, setting him up in bed before tuning into the TV to see Prime Minister Harriet Jones and Project Director Daniel Evans, announcing the Guinevere 1 space probe's arrival on Mars. However, untelevised is the probe being taken in by a huge spaceship. Rose and Mickey head out for some Christmas shopping but are attacked by a group of masked robot Santas. Rose figures that they must be after the Doctor and rushes home with Mickey to find a new Christmas tree sat in the living room. The tree comes alive in an attempt to kill the gang, but the Doctor awakes at the last moment and uses the sonic screwdriver to stop it. While still awake, the Doctor heads outside to see a group of Santas waiting for him, but they're scared off by the sonic. The Doctor collapses again, stating his regeneration as the cause of his neural implosion. Before passing out, yet again he tells Rose that something bigger is coming. The signal from Guinevere 1 is broadcast across the world, showing aliens wearing masks made of bone. Despite trying to cover it up as a hoax and telling the aliens who have identified themselves as the Sycorax that Earth is armed, Harriet Jones can't stop them from mind-controlling the citizens of Earth from being led up to the edges of roofs and bridges around the world, waiting to jump. Harriet Jones makes an emergency broadcast, asking if anyone knows where the Doctor is, and Rose breaks down, unsure of what to do. The Sycorax ship appears, and Rose and Mickey take the Doctor to the TARDIS for safety, leaving Jackie behind when the Sycorax beam the TARDIS up. Pew! Aboard the Sycorax ship, Llewellyn is killed alongside one of the members of the unit team, Major Blake, Chew Amambala. Harriet Jones is left with a choice, half the population sold into slavery or a third killed. Rose exits the TARDIS unaware that the ship has moved and tries to reason with the Sycorax. They mock her and sentence her to death, but the Doctor wakes up just in time to save her. He works out that the Sycorax have been using blood control to get the humans on roofs. He pushes the button to get them to jump, revealing you can't hypnotise someone to death, which is all blood control is. The leader of the Sycorax, Sean Gilder, probably, challenges the Doctor to a sword fight in which he loses his hand. Fortunately, the Doctor, since he has just regenerated, can grow one back. The leader of the Sycorax is defeated and promises to leave the planet but attempts to ambush the Doctor from behind. The Doctor hits a button and the ground falls away, killing the leader of the Sycorax as he declares he's a no second chances kind of man. With the spaceship gone, the Doctor, Rose and Mickey head back to Jackie's for Christmas dinner, however not before Harriet Jones calls Torchwood to shoot down the Sycorax ship, despite the surrender. The Doctor is furious, telling her aide, "Don't you think she looks tired?" And picking out a new outfit, the Doctor is joined by Rose for more trips in the TARDIS that he assures her will be fantastic. there you go. Have your notes. How do you I want to get into this episode.
Yeah.
Will be very boring to go through in order, I think.
Yeah, I think it will as well.
So I do just kind of want to bounce around. It's a Christmas special. It's the first of many Christmas specials, and I'm going to say this because it's just how I think it is. This is by far for me the weakest Christmas special
Well, I was
possibly
thinking,
ever.
not just with like Christmas specials, but just with Christmas media in general. I feel like you have to look at it with a very different, like, sort of a different lens than you do with just like regular stuff. And I think that, you know, you can either do story set at Christmas or Christmas story, and this is
story set at Christmas.
This is story set at Christmas.
Like, yeah, if you remove the Christmas from this, the only thing that changes is probably whatever the pilot fish are wearing.
I was gonna say, yeah, you know, they it's in Runaway Bride.
Yes.
When you see them and they have the little like the metallic like the gold faces and the black robes.
Yeah, underneath the.
Yeah, if you just put them in that, then this could just not be a Christmas special. Yeah. Like instead of the Christmas tree scene, put something else in there.
A TV with guns. If Transformers can do it, why can't you?
A TV with guns.
Yeah, man. Pow pow. You know, pow.
You know that bit in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 where Freddy just pops out the TV and he's like, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." Yeah. And he like grows arms out the side of the TV. Yeah, it's just like that. He's like, boom.
Yeah. That's exactly how I want this to happen.
So stupid.
What do you think of the CG TARDIS crash at the beginning?
Like, I don't think it looks that bad.
The landing shot looks insane.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
It does.
Like when it skids to a stop and you can't see between the CG and the physical merge. I could not make it out when it cuts.
There is one small part of it, I think, and I think it's like sort of around when it first appears that I kind of go, okay. But like, it's fine.
There is one of the weird CG things that I noticed is when the Sycorax are, you know, trying to get everyone using blood control. Yeah. It cuts to the power state and it's a top-down shot and the TARDIS is like superimposed in, I guess. And you can just sort of tell that it's like a PNG.
Oh, I didn't notice. Yeah, I did not notice that one.
If it's not a PNG, like, or you know, it's not just an image dragged onto the video, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing that we have learned about Doctor Who is that they love a still image. I'll tell you what I thought looked kind of weird, though, about this first scene, actually.
What?
Was the people in the background. Like, I don't know if you noticed, because, like, it was a very small thing.
Tell you now, I didn't.
Oh, there was nothing to, like, draw my attention, so I'm kind of confused about how I even noticed it. But, you know, when the Doctor comes out the TARDIS and he's got, like, one arm around Jackie, one arm around Mickey, and he's like, "Merry Christmas."
And then he collapses.
Yeah, you can see a couple of sets of people stood, like, way back in the distance, like, sort of over their shoulders. And they're just not moving. And for a long time, I was like, is this just also, like a still image? And then someone moves, like, someone is walking. But there's three couples just stood back.
Those are definitely people that just wanted to watch the
filming of Doctor Who. My mum always says this thing that she always looks for in any in anything that's sort of filmed in a public place. Yeah. Where she says anytime she's watching it, she looks sort of past the immediate extras back after that to see who was just there to watch the filming.
Well, it happens in the 50th, doesn't it? You know, when the TARDIS is carried into, like, is it Trafalgar Square? No, maybe I'm thinking.
Yes,
Piccadilly?
it's Trafalgar Square.
It's Trafalgar Square. Yeah. And it's carried over and he's hanging from it and they come down and there's like the rails. They're just fans.
I was going to say, that's just actual, like, a filming thing, right?
There is like a 15-minute thing that you can watch on YouTube, which is on Doctor Who's page about Stephen Moffat and how he wrote the 50th. And he says, he's like, I planned that to be in public, so I planned people around in the script because I knew that people would want to. And also, it would be kind of weird to shoot an entire like anniversary special just in secret. Like, you know, if you get a few shots of the fans in there, that's cool too. There is no show without them. So I'm like, yeah, fair enough, good shot.
I don't hate public stuff like that. I hate if it's really obvious and you can tell and people are there like, oh my god, you know, but like, who gives a shit?
Sign my everything.
The thing is, I'm like, it's free extras and no one will complain.
That's true, yeah. And, you know, anything to save the BBC a little bit of cheddar cheese, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this. When the Doctor falls at the beginning, he's like, "Merry Christmas," and then it collapses. He's shot almost exactly like Hartnell the first time he changes.
Is he?
Like the way the camera is looking sort of on him laid down, that shot is, it's frighteningly similar.
See, I'm like that.
And it might just be a callback to regeneration things happening that I'm like, yeah, cool.
That shot is burned into my memory, so it's really funny to me that I didn't notice that.
Oh, okay. Do you notice it now when you side by side them in your own brain?
Now I can see how it is like that, yeah.
Maybe it's just not intentional and I'm just like drawing weird conclusions from absolutely fuck all.
Maybe David Tennant just did that.
Maybe David Tennant was just William Hartnell back in the day, you know? Maybe that was him.
He just did that. If I worked with Mickey in this opening scene, I would think he was having some kind of breakdown.
Oh, he's just like, everybody, turn that down.
And then he just stops what he's doing, and then he's like, oh my god, like stops the music, and then just leaves, just run, like, not even like he leaves, he sprints, he absolutely takes off.
He's got a Christmas phobia.
Did you see what the sign said behind him?
No.
It said champagne motoring at lemonade prices at Clancy's.
That's so funny.
So there you go. Mickey works at Clancy's garage.
Good for him. It's a good thing that he's keeping a job, not like old Pete Tyler. He couldn't have fucking done it.
Not like old Rose Tyler. She's been employed for how long now? Unemployed for how long now?
Possibly forever, possibly a day. Depends on how the TARDIS is working at this time.
Yeah.
That's entirely.
Well, there's that like great scene later where she says something to Mickey about how she needs to borrow 20 quid.
Yeah, and he's like, well, oh yeah, and she's like, well, I haven't got a job, and so one of the odd things I think is that Jackie robbed a med student.
Yep.
like straight up, she was like, I found it, I took it. That was
but didn't she say she took it from Tina the cleaner?
Tina the cleaner? No, it was someone's. I don't know. I think she says it's someone's daughter, right?
Because all I know is that she said Tina the cleaner, and I was like, it's so funny to me that
everyone rhymes. But
Tina the cleaner's got this lodger, a medical student, and she was fast asleep, so I just took it.
What the fuck? Right.
Jackie's sneaking around.
One, this person who has a lodger, and so you were in the house and you were like, I'm just pinching from him.
You clearly do not know her very well if you call her Tina the cleaner.
Yeah. I mean, what's their last name, Jackie? Come on. I thought you were better than this. And she like suggests that the doctor could have two cocks.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, and I mean that is the implication, right? She's like, "Oh, two hearts. What else has he got two of?" And then walks away.
Did you ever see the video that someone made? I don't know like how around the internet this was, but I saw it online at one point, and it was that scene where he's like, "What else has he got two of?" And then it just like immediately like cuts to a double penis. Just immediately after that.
Oh, okay.
And I think it started blasting like Veil de Sem or something, when it's like proper like deep fried crispy audio.
Ew.
And I saw it and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I have a genuine question actually.
Okay.
Like a genuine note thing. Okay. So obviously, chronologically, there has been, I don't know when the season ended, but there's been months since Parting of the Ways aired.
Yes.
Timeline wise,
mm-hmm.
That was the last time that Jackie and Mickey saw Rose.
Oh my god.
Yep.
So it's been like, what, 5 minutes for Rose, but it's been months for them.
Because I was thinking about
well
when she, when at the very, like, it's the opening of the episode when Jackie has the Christmas present.
Yes.
For Rose.
Yeah.
And then she says something about like, oh my god, like, something about saying to Mickey like, oh, I told you she's alive and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, because they didn't know whether she was going to live.
Yeah. And not even like...
And then she disappeared for a few months.
She has her like...
Again.
She has her absolute nervous breakdown in the fucking chip shop.
That's true.
She runs into the TARDIS, starts crying about her dead dad, then the door slams shut and she fucks off.
For months.
For months.
But you got to think it was cold during Boomtown, so we were getting to that time of year anyway. So I don't think it's been like... It's not like it's been like 8 months or whatever. Like we know it's not been too long. But still, anything more than like a week, I'd be like, oh, okay, she's probably dead.
Because I'm like, if I went to go see my mum and I started having an absolute breakdown and then I just left, and then I just like no contact, I just left, I assume that my mum would, even if it was still cold, I assume my mum would still be a bit like, hello. But yeah, how long has this been? That's what I want to know.
I will gamble like 2 months tops.
Do you think that Jackie had like a whole thing going on where she was like, well, do I get her something? Like, she might be dead. Do I have to buy her a Christmas present?
Also take a shot. She says Doctor Who though.
Hey, yeah,
Jackie does a Doctor Who. And
I love every part of this cold open as well. The whole thing is like so enjoy good.
This. And I mean, they don't keep him in Nine's clothes for very long at all.
No, they really don't. Well, it's out of the jacket and into pajamas.
It's like out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
In for a penny, in for a pound, kind of. But that's because Matt Smith stays in. He doesn't keep Tennant's blazer on, but he keeps the shirt and tie for most of the 11th hour, up until like the last 5 minutes maybe, when he has the little meeting with the Atraxi.
The one that I am wounded about, like really wounded about, was Jodie in Capaldi's clothes, because I'm like, my God, that woman
in those clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, you like that one?
It was really doing something for me. And then she put on the other outfit.
You can't see this, but that's that smile is actually kind of scary. What you're trying to tell me is Geordie in a burnt up Scottish man's Court
Was hot.
gave you a little bit of the horn. Okay, that's all. You can say that.
Got,
you don't have to. You have to linger on it for too long. You know. When the doctor lays down, so you explained this to me a little while ago, and I didn't know this. The doctor breathes out. He's like,
yeah, he does a little regeneration energy.
And the other doctors didn't really do this. They just changed, right? And then that was it. That was the whole thing. You can't just nod. It's an audio
Sorry,
thing.
I always forget. I've done that quite a few times.
Yeah, you just like nod, and I'm like,
Yeah, because this is the whole thing. He's expelling this excess radiation because that's essentially what happened. Heart of the TARDIS radiation or whatever is what killed the Ninth Doctor. So he is now releasing this out. So why does every single Doctor regenerate into a big explosion? I hate it. It really bothers me.
You like Heart of the TARDIS radiation. That's probably what it's called. I probably should have written something else.
What have you written?
I've written Gallifrey and Piss Mist. Because later on, they're on the little balcony and he's like scares away the pilot fish.
With his piss mist?
And he blows it right into Jackie's face. Jackie, like the little trio is like, what do you need? And he's like, and I'm like, oh, he got Gallifrey and Piss Mist all up in their faces.
Listen, do you know what I unironically titled my Be Real earlier that I was looking for a new podcast co-host? I said, ideally one that's less pissy. And then you just come out here and start talking about Gallifrey and Piss Mist. And I'm like, you know what? Life imitates art.
Right. And it's not Gallifrey and Piss Mist. Apparently it's radiation. Never mind. Okay.
Yep. Regeneration energy. Because because isn't there the
yeah, they just change it, everything. Don't they? Because Jodie also does a little... Which it doesn't... I don't know if it's going to happen. If there is, there's no one to fucking look after him if Tennant's going to do that again.
Imagine if he just like falls forward off that big cliff that the TARDIS landed on and just fucking dies.
Regenerates again. That's how Shooty comes about. Just immediately.
Well, no, because that kills them, right? If you are killed within your regeneration cycle, that's.
I thought I meant like the immediate pshaw. Because the first 15 minutes he's basically first 15 hours.
15 hours.
He's basically fucking invincible, right?
Well, ask Romana. I don't give a shit.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
But like, I assume it doesn't have to be immediate. I assume that like it can be a second or two after.
I remember seeing that in The Impossible Astronaut, and
can I have that brownie, please.
So they after this, because I just don't care enough to keep like prattling on about whatever the fuck it was we were talking about before you were brownie chewing. Mickey is a very good friend.
Yeah, I feel like the him and Rose feel like actual people
in this episode. Yeah. They're just buddies.
Yep.
Except for there's maybe once or twice where I'm like, stop doing this. Where she does a little flirt with him at one point.
Yeah, they feel, instead of being like exes now, they feel more like people who are like, oh, maybe, you know, like.
Well, yeah, but I don't even like that. Just like
oh no, I also don't like it, but you know, that's the vibe feels like it has shifted.
Yeah. But he's a little bit braver in this episode when they come back and there's a CGI tree, which is CGI the whole time.
Yeah.
Like that one shot of it just staying still, I'm like, that's just CGI still.
I mean, I know that he is trying to be helpful, but this is one of those things that I'm like, Mickey, babe, what are you doing?
Mickey Hun.
This is not useful. This isn't helpful.
And then he sacrifices a chair.
Yeah, well, like he's holding the chair, and it's not slowing down. It's like you're just destroying it at this point. Yeah, like you are actually just because like
it's just a belt sander.
Yeah, maybe this chair would have been like fucking fine if it had just been left at the table, but no, you are gonna make sure for a fact it's destroyed.
And then one of my favorite Jackie lines of all time: "I'm gonna get killed by a Christmas tree." Oh my god! And
it's the fear.
It's the fear and like embarrassment. Like, oh my god, people are gonna find my body and they'll be like, oh my god, there's a Christmas tree shaped hole in the wall, like Wile E. Coyote, and I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, horrible. Well, we know how it happened. The tree got her.
I see that meme every single year without fail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then so Rose doesn't just use the Sonic herself.
No, and I feel like she knows more than enough how to. And
she's cured barbed wire with that.
I will get into it in the scene where it really, really bothered me. But here's the thing. I don't like Rose in this episode.
Yeah, she's
don't. Like, nothing on the Billie Piper performance. Just some of the decisions that she makes, I think are inconsistent. But, yeah, Rose is very incapable of pushing a button.
Yeah, she just, help me.
I also don't like that ADR on that line.
There's a lot of ADR in this episode that I've noticed.
That's the one that I'm like, oh my god.
There's a good amount.
Jumps out.
I'm pretty sure that one of the entire conversations in the TARDIS, I'm pretty sure is ADR.
Oh, possibly.
Between her and Mickey.
Possibly.
The pilot fish design, I just want to say I prefer the Runaway Bride ones.
Yeah, me too.
Something a bit more jovial. There's not like a circuitry face going on, like...
Yeah, these ones really do... Because I feel like in the scene when Mickey and Rose are, like, out shopping...
Yeah.
And, like, I kind of think it's cool that she's picked up the Doctor's, like, danger sense when the band is there and they're, like, playing all their instruments and she keeps looking at them. And I'm like... Yeah, like most people would probably walk past that. And I'm like, yeah, because they look off.
At this time of year, yeah.
They look off, but it's the kind of off where you probably wouldn't notice that if you were just doing Christmas shopping and just going on with your stuff. But if you take the time to look at them, you're like, oh, like uncanny valley sort of.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, something's not quite right there.
And Rose is very on guard about this.
How do you feel about the Doctor in them? I mean, I mainly do want to talk about the scenes with the Doctor in them, but he's just in so little of them.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you feel about this one on the balcony?
On the balcony, I like it, but my favorite part of it is Jackie, and like...
Yeah. It's this is a thing that I have, is this is very much a very similar scene to when he's poisoned in Unicorn and the Wasp.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Him and Donna doing that. What do you need? And he's just like, I need
Harvey Wallbanger.
And she like, she just doesn't let him get a word in. And he's like, I'm dying. Come, let me help, okay?
Yeah. I also love that Jackie just goes, do you need codeine? And I'm like, codeine, Jackie?
That's a really powerful drug.
Excuse me. She also
the codeine's weaker cousin, cocodamol.
Cocodamol, yeah. But she's like, oh, soup and a sandwich, and a little soup and ham sandwich, and I'm like, yeah, Jackie, I'd love a soup and a ham sandwich.
And then the Doctor gets distracted by an apple in his pocket.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just happy to see Jackie.
I love the little bit when he's like, oh, by the way, like, is this an apple? And she's like, oh, it's Howard's or whatever. And he gets hungry, and the Doctor's like in his sleep, and Jackie's like, sometimes.
Like, it's normal. She's like, yeah. I don't know how much you want to talk about this. Barriet's in this episode.
Yeah, she is.
Barriet the Chariot is back.
Let's go.
I fucking hate her.
I hate her a little bit, but then I'm mostly just, God, I feel bad for this woman.
I mean, why?
Just, like, I mean...
Because it's a lot to...
Yeah, just because I'm like, also sort of like when we get up there, like, sort of the two people who would be in charge of things. I mean, I know she's Prime Minister, but I mean, like, the two specialist people who would be helpful to her in these decisions. They're just killed. Yeah. They're just immediately killed.
But that's not until... I mean, for like most of this episode, even before that on the ship, I just don't like her. This is not... it's not a different character. She's clearly been through some shit.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't like this version of Harriet. The last one was like, very much protective, but also had this like motherly sort of vibe about like when she was with Rose. When we come back to her now, she's like hardened. Anything that is not earthly or the Doctor, we just want to kill it.
I think as well, though, one of the things that definitely... Obviously, like, her character is her character, but just these whole scenes, one of the things that really does not help is that I don't care about any of the characters that are with her in them. Like, Llewellyn, that Sally, the woman, the blonde woman, like, I don't even know her name. There you go. That's, like, how I feel about it. The like, Prime Minister's aide or whatever that she has, I don't like any of them. I don't care about any of them. I don't think that they're interesting. And I think that for a show that has made... a lot of their side characters very interesting for the most part, it's kind of a letdown when they're just shit.
I kind of like Llewellyn as just some dude who is like stumbled into this thing and has fucked up and tries to own it. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I don't like it when that one woman who says virtually nothing then gets blood controlled and he's just obsessed with her.
Well, the thing is, I'm like, I was going to be like writing a little pseudo romance between the two of them. You have an extra 20 minutes on the episode, you've got time for it, but then I remember fucking Davidge Pavel and Elaine the Pain.
Yeah, you don't want that again.
Ah!
Yeah, you don't need that.
Did you get my favourite line from this, by the way? Which is when...
Yes, I imagine it is when she's like Harriet Jones and someone else says, I know who you are.
No.
Is that it?
No, it's not.
It's a Harriet... your favourite line?
It's a Harriet line.
Okay.
I think she herself says it, and I can't remember word for word what it is. Actually, no, I will do... My computer not being immediately in front of me is really fucking me up this week, man. So it's when they're talking about the Sycorax, like little vlog that they send down. And Llewellyn says, you seem to be talking about aliens as matter of fact. And Harriet says, there's an act of parliament banning my autobiography. And I'm like, I want to read that.
There's an act of parliament banning my autobiography.
Like, who was it that, that like sort of had to be the one to be like, you know what, this.
Yeah. This is
not right.
Also got our present mention of Torchwood.
Yes.
Like, we've heard from it in the far, far future, but...
This is the first time as well that Torchwood is sort of referred to as being like an actual thing. Like an institute.
And we see it do something.
We do see it do something.
We see it go... Pshum, is what it does. It presumes.
My thing about this is it's a little bit... No, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Does it clash with some continuity stuff? Is that what it is?
It doesn't clash with continuity stuff, but I just realised there's absolutely no point in talking about it now when I can talk about it in the other episode that it makes me go, in.
Okay.
Jackie says, save as a chipolata.
What the fuck?
At one point.
She just does. She just says that.
When she's on the phone, a Bev or whatever.
In that scene, sorry, the one from before, where they're about aliens. Oh, aliens exist.
Yeah.
And the Sycorax appear and whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my god, it's a Martian. And someone says, that's not what Martians look like.
Yeah.
Is that an Ice Warrior reference?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's adorable.
Well, they're with Unit, right? So
Yeah. Well, makes sense that they would know.
Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to out myself a little bit here, but none of the finer details of this episode went into my head.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry.
I'm sorry if I'm not giving you all the...
In my head, I'm like, all of this episode is the last 15 minutes on the ship. That's all this episode is to me. My brain.
Sorry if the continuity Doctor Who trivia vibes just aren't here this week. The reason that they are not is because I'm a piece of shit. And no excuses. Own your mistakes, you know?
When they appear on screen and it's like, easy come, easy go. Bohemian Sick Rhapsody, baby. Bohemian Sick Rhapsody. Ooh.
I was waiting for you to make that joke.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Because I put Bohemian Rhapsody, Sick Rhapsody, and then I've written that down and then gone, I don't know if that makes any sense. But I've said it.
Sick Rhapsody?
Sick Rhapsody. Either way, there's 4 of them. They're stacked like Queen, end of.
What do
They're
they
stacked
say?
like the Queen.
Sycorax strong, Sycorax mighty, Sycorax rocks.
Camp Rock. But it's just a Sycorax just looking around whilst they do that.
So I like, we'll get to the trivia when we get to the trivia.
Yeah.
But it turns out the Sycorax are hard as fuck.
Are they like actually strong boys?
They are like bad as hell. And I feel like this is an episode that like
makes him look like a sock puppet.
Yeah, clearly this is one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, this is the first appearance, and then in the other appearances we'll build on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing about the Sycorax is they kind of seem like the Dothraki, and I kind of like that a bit.
Okay.
Because of the Game of Thrones of it all.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Game of Thrones
you're not, but that's for the listeners who are.
I've just found my criticism note of Harriet Jones.
Go on then.
And that is in every scene she is in. As Harriet, Barriet the Chariot, the leader of the world. She looks fucking clueless every time we see her. She's just sort of stood there like,
Well, I don't think it helps her cause that she's got 4 other people around her, like at any point in time as aides.
Yeah, but I like whenever I see her, I'm like, you should be the one taking charge and knowing what to do. That's not what you're doing.
There is a very sort of hard departure from, Hannibal melt rocks with vinegar in the Alps. Well, let's use it on the Slitheen.
Yeah.
Barriet Jones to Barriet Jones now, who is just kind of like.
But I still think that she is better informed than most humans on
Well, she has the line about saying something about Torchwood, and
so
and
then
then
she's
someone's
like,
how
to know.
Yeah, like the United Nations aren't supposed to even know about that. How do you?
If Rose was A positive, what the fuck would happen?
Imagine. Would Mickey have to do all this? Because Jackie,
you think Mickey would be clever enough to do anything?
Well, the thing is, Rose's plan here really is just get to the TARDIS. Everything else is happenstance.
Yeah, but I don't like.
And I think that one of the
but
other
Mickey
two of
wouldn't
them,
leave Rose.
No, well, neither would Jackie.
Exactly, that's what I'm just like.
Well, then I guess that's the case of just we wait. Because the thing is,
the TARDIS doesn't do a little distress thing until they go in there with the Doctor.
Well,
the Doctor's body meets
and that's thing. What, because the Sycorax says something as well about how they believe they were conspiring to hide like advanced technology, and it's like, no, we just didn't know the TARDIS was here. So I suppose like if they don't know the TARDIS is there, then Harriet has to make the choice.
Which is insane that we get to this point and it's like 40 minutes into the episode by this. Mm-hmm. Like that's how much nothing really happens here.
Yeah, really.
Which makes me feel like they had an hour slot on Christmas Day.
And they just had to fill it.
No, I think they wrote a 40-minute script.
Do you think?
Thinking they would get their usual time slot.
Well,
and then it got to it, and then they were like, oh, we have an hour.
I think it really... Thinking about it like that, I feel like that whole Christmas shopping scene could have just been added in.
Yep.
After the fact. Because that's like a nothing scene.
The
I also think
fish mean nothing.
Well, that's why they exist, right?
The pilot fish something bigger is on its way.
Yeah,
you
purely because of that.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at the times, and by the time when the Doctor steps out the TARDIS at the end, there's 20 minutes of the episode left.
Which is insane, because that 20 minutes flies by.
Mm-hmm. And I think that his first, aside from the whole like coming out of the TARDIS and fainting, his next little interaction thing is like 12 minutes in.
Yes, and so we don't see him for the whole
the other
20 odd minutes.
And it's just like...
It does falter a bit without him. But when we do get to the end, do you like his reveal?
Oh, I do. But actually, if we're going to skip to the ship,
okay. I mean, so there's a thing here that I want to ask you about because you will know more than me.
Okay, well,
where they mention Torchwood lost a third of their staff.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? Is that a thing that I should know about?
Oh, see, there's. Is
it a Jack thing?
There's multiple Torchwoods.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
In a way that
me legitimately being annoyed by that, like, oh, fine.
Because I think it's like Torchwood 1 is Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like Torchwood 3 is Torchwood as in the TV show team.
Okay.
And then, but Torchwood 2,
Electric Boogaloo.
Like, I'm not entirely sure, and I don't know if that's like, I wish I could tell you more about this, but I can't. I'm sorry.
Fine. Then Harriet makes her fucking Queen's speech.
Which I think it's kind of funny that she just first of all hijacks the Queen's speech, and I think that line where she just kind of like looks concerned, and then she just turns to the side and just goes, "Did we ask about the royal family?" And then she goes,
"Oh, they're on the roof.
They're on the roof."
Yes.
Like, that's hilarious, actually.
I think that it's odd that she is searched only for the Doctor and not for Rose.
Well, okay, so here's what's going on with me in this scene.
Okay.
Because I think it's very good at building tension. This part with her doing the speech and the sad music, and like in the very manipulative, you are supposed to feel something kind of way.
Yeah.
And it is ruined for me completely at the end of the scene when Billie Piper bursts into tears and she's like, "I don't know what to do, Mum." And I'm like,
she says the Doctor's gone.
Yeah. And
I'm like, he's not dead. We know that.
Rose Tyler, last week you were sent home from the end of the universe and you pulled apart one of the most like
the strongest time ships
one of the most extravagant
the
pieces of technology that exists. You took all of that power for yourself and you single-handedly ended the Time War, and now
committed a genocide.
Yeah, you just like popped off a war crime like it was nothing, and then now you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, it's just, I hate it.
I mean, I understand the not knowing what to do. Well, here's my pass on that, like why I'm giving it an okay.
Okay, go on.
In that time, she's also seen the man she looked up to and saved completely change face, and she has no idea what's about to happen. Because whilst the Doctor is often a different man, the ideals stay the same. You know, the acceptance, all of these, the humour, these things all stick around most of the time, at least. So you get the foundations of the Doctor, but mostly a new man. And I mean, Ten says that later on. He says, you know, a new man goes sauntering off, whatever. He says that to Wilfred. So like, I'm giving her a pass because this to her is still like kind of scary, brand new. I don't know what's going to happen. What if the Doctor wakes up and he doesn't remember who Rose is properly?
I mean,
like, you know,
like I'm sort of into that, but it really feels to me her whole like, oh, this kind of thing is, it's like, surely in Rose's mind she knows that like the Daleks are the biggest, baddest motherfuckers of all.
Yeah,
the Sycorax, not really anything like that. It's just you go find Harriet Jones. You and Mickey go, hey Harriet, remember us? I don't know.
I got confused when she says he's gone, because I'm like, did he die off screen? Did we like see him flatline? And like, no, we don't. We still know he's alive. I just don't know why she's saying this. And then I have a note Because okay, so the things that I've said before, like there's certain things that I think, even as someone who has never acted in their life, there are certain acting things that I think would be difficult. Crying, fake laughter, I think is insanely difficult.
Genuine fake laughter as well.
Like when they're all in the cafe in Boomtown and they're all laughing, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Unless you were like legitimately, but the joke is scripted, so surely not. Like, I don't know whether you just think of a funny thing that's happened or, you know, maybe look at a cat meme, fucking who cares. But my note here is just like, does Russell T Davies just like to see Billie Piper cry? Is it just something that she can act so well on and so few other actresses can do that it's like, well, use this while we have it? Martha doesn't cry that often. Catherine Tate does do a few cries.
Yeah, well, the thing is as well, though, like, Catherine Tate and Billie Piper cry in very different ways, where I feel like Catherine Tate's cry is
it's like a brave cry.
Yeah, it's
like a
very
warrior cry,
understated, whereas, like, Billie Piper's cry is like a breakdown cry.
Where?
Hold on 1 second.
Are we going to look at some crying?
No.
It's good. It's a good movie. Neil Patrick Harris is in it, and he is going to be in Doctor Who now. So hey, a Doctor Who man is working.
Full circle, baby. I have the book.
Hell yeah.
I have the book on my shelf.
I've not read the book of Gone Girl.
Me neither.
That's why it's on your shelf, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And who is it? The person who wrote that book wrote another book that I have as well.
Oh, I don't care.
I'm not gonna say it out loud because I'll be wrong.
Yeah. So here's a thing that I noticed.
Okay.
That you probably have in your trivia, and I'm going to ruin it for you. But I feel like it's cooler that I noticed it when I watched the episode, and I was like, oh.
Yes.
The scaffolding around Big Ben.
Oh yeah, because it's still
noticed it immediately, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh, that was real a few years back, and then I was like, but not that many years back, huh? Why is it like that? And the more I looked, the more I was like, oh, that's just an effect.
Yeah.
And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's not rebuilt yet.
Yeah.
Did you get that in any of your lookings online? That apparently Russell T.
Try again? Try again?
Sorry, my Welsh prince. Russell T. Davies wanted to destroy it again. Apparently he almost destroyed Big Ben for a second time.
So funny.
As like a bit, and then he was like, no, I probably shouldn't.
I feel like if you did it again, it would have to be with the scaffolding, like have that go down too.
Yep. Well, the thing as well, though, I think if you do that, is it just sets it up to be like a recurring joke, and I don't think it needs to be a recurring joke. Is that Big Ben
budget-wise?
Yeah,
we need to put 60,000 aside for the Big Ben.
Well, they did. Okay, so here's like an off-topic thing, but in the like not the most recent, but the one before this, like volume of Marauders, they were doing this joke where because of like Kitty Pryde's phasing powers, she couldn't go through a Krakoan portal. And there's a bit, like, at the start of the book where obviously she doesn't know this yet. And she walks into it and she breaks her nose. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, you know, why is this not working for me?
Yeah.
And then for the next couple of issues, they do a joke where her nose just keeps getting broken. Like, it's almost healed and it just keeps getting broken. And then after about 4 issues, they drop it. And then at that point, I'm just like, keep going with the joke. Because, like, it's funny and it's dumb. Because also, I like it because they did it in Bratz, too. They did that same joke in Bratz with the Tweevils.
I don't know if you have anything for this trivia-wise that you want to put in now, but either way, I think it's a good enough time to discuss when the helmet comes off. What do you think of the Sycorax design?
I have thought this since I first watched the show. It's so much cooler with the mask on.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, and this is not me saying it looks bad without. Like, it looks
fine.
It looks fine. The only problem is you made the mask cooler than the face design.
Yeah. I'm going to say, because the mask design is kind of iconic. When I think of Sycorax, that's what I think of. I don't think of, like, the...
With the mask on, it looks super alien. And then they turn it off.
It's got, like, the boogie eyes and the insecty
and it,
looking...
like, the weird, like, teeth sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, different shaped head. It looks super alien. It looks super cool. They take them off. I'm like, oh, you are a red man.
Is it like a Cubone thing where it's like, this is the skull of my mother? Can you imagine?
Skulls of the victims.
Exactly.
They take
is it actually?
Trophies. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be
They take trophies from the victims, and apparently, like, some of them have been known to wear, like, Jadoon belts, like belts and stuff made of Jadoon skin.
That's cool.
See, this is what I'm saying. We got to read the comic. Obviously, we'll get
to Balenciaga? No, it's Fofo Shoko Rodo. What if I just cursed in Jadoon?
What is it? Would it be Jadoonese?
Jadoonian.
Is that like legit, or
I've no fucking clue. I'm making this up as I go.
Sorry, I just want to do a little podcast about the silly science show with the man with two hearts to be scientifically accurate, Tyrese.
Yeah, my bad, my fucking bad. Then pre beam me uppy.
Yes.
People do a die.
Yeah, they do.
Oh no, people are dead.
Llewellyn and Major Blake.
Yep.
Pretty horrible way to go as well,
Yeah.
as far as
Frying 'em.
Doctor Who deaths go.
Yeah, they just get fucking atomized basically in the
Yeah,
skeletons.
this is
tumble.
this is an unpleasant one, I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't envy him.
No.
You know. Then there's they go down to the TARDIS. They're like, okay, we need to just leave. Like, fuck it, we need to leave. We need to run
Yes.
away, book it, whatever we need to do. And then Jackie's like, I'm just gonna get some tea because tea's the cure for everything.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, foreshadowing. Which I don't
Doctor
really
was
get.
saved by coffee once.
I don't really get the tea thing. So is it the fumes that does it? It falls into the thing and he luckily breathes in the vapors and now he's fine? Because he didn't drink the fucking thing because it was spilled.
Do you know what would be funny if there was any line about how Jackie made it with love? That would be the only thing that I think would make this funnier and stupider.
And love helped. Love helped.
Do you get it? Family saved the day. Like, I don't know. I think it's just supposed to be like a fun British thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
then someone talks about no. So I think he's called Alex. Is he the licky bum one?
yes.
Yes.
He is, yes.
He says they're talking English, which I don't want to be rude. They're speaking English.
And then Rose goes, "You're talking English."
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's alright. She has no GCSEs.
But he does. I assume at least that he's.
I
got dance and
really,
gymnastics.
really like this part
when
with the translator. Yeah.
I
where-
always thought the translator was like, if you are so close to the TARDIS, this happens. I didn't think it was a telepathy thing that stays with you literally wherever you are.
Well, I mean, I feel like if you've done, if you've done a trip in the TARDIS,
Yeah.
then yeah, you probably have kind of got it in your brain more. But then I feel like at least for everyone else, like Harriet and the gang who were just stood around outside the TARDIS on the ship, that's probably like a sort of like proximity thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Then 10 enter 10 for the first time properly, I guess. I'd say this is his first proper scene where Tennant gets to do his little experiment. How do I
Did you
want to
miss
play
me?
this? Did you miss me? He says that. Doesn't he call Sycorax big fella?
Yeah,
Is that little big
he
fella?
does. Here you go.
What a great thing.
Actually, Alex, the guy, he says, "Hold on, that's English," and Harriet goes, "He's talking English," and then Rose goes, "You're talking English." So it's not just Rose; it's the fucking Prime Minister.
It's an egg.
That's why her autobiography was banned, because it was just absolutely riddled with fucking like grammar and spelling
really
mistakes.
shitty, really shoddily written. That's why.
She didn't use any complex sentences.
Don't bring up sentence types. Isn't it weird that on a writing course we've never covered sentence types once?
It is kind of weird, yeah.
I feel like that is, even though yes, it's like a primary or secondary school thing. I feel like it's something you should go over because there's probably more types that we just don't know about.
Oh yeah,
We haven't discovered them all. It's
I
like
was
the
saying
sea.
something to Luke once, and I was trying to think of the word adjective, and I went, "Oh, give me a describer," and he went, "A describer, an English student," and you're just saying describer, and I'm like, "Yeah, I just forgot a word for a minute. Leave me alone."
Leave me be.
So like now to this day, he'll be like, "Describer."
Tennant winks at Rose at one point.
Yeah, when he's like,
and
"Am I sexy?"
She gets pure flutters doing that. Oh my god. I don't know what the atmosphere is like up in the sky, but let me tell you, the moisture it could rain. I hope it wouldn't. That would be the worst rain ever.
That's worse than Gallifrey and Piss missed that.
Did you just say imagine? I don't want to. Why is this rain more viscous than most days?
Do you know what? I am nothing if I can't continuously say imagine. And the thing about this is,
Yeah, but I don't like how in this case of imagine imagine if it rained, pussy.
no, sorry, what
I was
were you
going to say
say?
pussy juice, and then I was like, that just doesn't. Do you know what's weird, right? And this is going to be a tangent. Sentences like that kind of sound okay when an American says them in a TV show or online or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I am so common that
you
I
can't
just
say.
don't. I just don't think that I can say them, but I just don't think I pull them off. Yeah, if you put those words in an American's mouth, then they will sound fine.
One of my favorite, funnily enough, obviously this guy who sung the song's American. One of my favorite rap lyrics ever is just, "I'll slide up on your scene with pussy juice all on my jeans."
But like it just doesn't sound right, does it? When we say it?
Like, it's so good.
Like I'm like, oh, I'm too normal for this. I say normal. I use the term loosely.
Yeah, but I think the way that works is that we got to say "cum" because I think it's weird when Americans say "cum."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what else can you say? But I feel like Americans are more likely than someone British to use the phrase "make love." So like we get to say "cum," they get to say "make love," and
That's
they
true.
and they can call it like "love juice" or something. I don't give a shit.
I also feel like Americans they're allowed to say fucking more than we are because I prefer saying shagging.
See, I was never a huge fan of shagging, right?
Hey!
But since being friends with you, I say shagging a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, I've always thought, like, I just think shagging is funny.
I never. Then one that I don't use. I don't use this one because I don't think it's possible for a guy to really use this. Is getting railed. I don't think it's. I mean, no. It very much is possible for guys to use that. None of my sexuality. If you know.
Yeah.
If one of our friends from the hub was like, I got railed last night, I'd be like, okay, can you sit down all right though? Which is like a horrible assumption, but that's how I'd be like, what did she do to you?
Well, I feel like railing as well. It either in my mind applies to
Whoever.
shagging
I feel like
or
it's whoever's.
drugs. I feel like it's another thing that people
Oh,
say.
yeah.
I was railing lines or whatever.
I feel like railing is often who's putting the work in.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's putting the work in?
But I also feel like as a woman, you can't really rail a man.
Oh God, it's Christmas. What the fuck?
I mean,
I have a question for you.
pegging aside.
Pegging aside.
Obviously.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
And it is based around this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it after the podcast.
Okay.
But the question is gonna be based around, because I'll say what this is on the podcast, is about who fucks who, because me and my ex had very differing thoughts on this, and I really want to know.
Okay.
I want to know from another woman, and I will ask people on Sunday as well. Remind me, I will ask this
about
question.
Who fucks who?
And I'm gonna ask this question when we go to a pub quiz on Sunday, and I'm gonna be like, guys, who fucks who?
Whatever. Anyway, back to Doctor Who.
I have no notes here. Tennant just fucking kills the scene. He comes in, he stabs the shit out of the
he's
scene, and walks away.
Very good. It's very like Vader and Luke moment, I think. Like, I'm not a big Star Wars person, but that was my thought when they were sword fighting.
Which is why I'm like, okay. Oh, you mean when he cuts the hand off?
Yeah, like just the whole thing feels very much like that. How do you feel about afterwards when he's like, "It's a fighting hand"?
I typically it's one of the few things that I think we spoke about it on the show as well. That I don't like it when Capaldi does his American accent when he's doing the game show thing with the Osgood boxes. I'm just not a fan.
It's not a game, Kate.
It's not a game, Kate. I don't know why
scale model of war.
I would when we get around to that, you're doing that full speech in that voice. So
anything for my king. I mean, Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really
Capaldi.
need you to specify there, because otherwise people won't know it.
See,
and you know what? I will let that shit go. I'll put that online. If you didn't correct me, I'll be like, oh, that's definitely fucking going through. But I gave you the look to be like, you know what you need to do.
The thing is, I'm like, I don't think I need to clarify for you.
No, you don't.
For the
exactly.
anyone else, I feel like I do.
But if you don't believe, I would have milked the fuck out of that bit. And just saved the audio, clipped it, put it in every now and then when I'm like, well, you did say this.
Listen,
and I just use that isolated audio.
I have an isolated audio clip now of you saying, I don't like shagging.
That's
so
fine.
Listen,
that's fine.
Mutually assured destruction, baby.
I'll say it in 18 different languages if I need to. I don't care.
Go on.
I don't like shagging in 18 different languages. So, how do you feel about him, a big red button? Threatening button is how he goes. He fills his cheeks with those every time he says a.
I don't like it when people do that.
Every time there's a plosive, he's a.
I don't like it.
He's a.
I also hate when you're reading a book, and anyone uses.
I don't read often.
You know when someone will use the phrase to describe that, and they'll say, "popping the pee," and I hate that.
Is it because you hate the term? That's my pussy popping.
No.
Oh, you don't hate that term?
I don't hate it when people are like, oh, pussy popping, like whatever, that's fine.
Okay.
But just when people are like popping the pee, I hate it, and like I can't tell you why. It just makes me like really angry and upset.
I mean, I would just use the term plosive. Like that's what that is.
Yeah, like that's allowed. That's fine.
That's fine. But you don't like it when he does it in this episode. You don't like
No, I'm not really a fan of people doing that in general, which I mean, like I'm not saying I never do it, but I try not to.
I'm okay with him being a little silly. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm fine with
like,
silly Doctor.
yeah,
I just don't like the way that he says that.
Tennant is still figuring it out, This is one of his
He's got his, like,
scenes.
unique Tennant way of speaking as well.
He really does. Is it really
I had a moment
mannerismic?
when I was going to Amsterdam and I was in the airport, and they had the like, you know, like self-scanning passport things.
Yeah.
So I had not seen before then, and I was like freaking out about them. I was like, that's so cool. And I was talking to about it, and she was like, you just turned into David Tennant as the Doctor a little bit there. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I did.
That's just influence.
I'm gonna do that because I was like, oh my god, these things are great. And then I started going on about how they were great for a minute, and she was like, you're doing Doctor Who, and I was like, oh soz, didn't mean to.
Then after, so the sword fight's fine. The green screen is bad.
Yep.
The effect on the hand's bad.
I also think it looks really terrible after the Sycorax is fought. You know, do like that arm and like whoa, like the arm
he's
and
falling
like
down
flail.
to
yeah,
London.
that doesn't look great either.
Yeah, no, none of that looks. I mean, it passes for when it was.
When he falls into the EastEnders title screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to. They really make it look like he stabs the Sycorax like through the abdomen.
Yeah, they really do, right?
Yeah, and then he falls. I'm like, oh, did he kill? And every time I watch this episode, I'm like, oh, he killed him. And then I'm like, oh no, wait, no, he didn't. I've seen this. I know he didn't. But I have to remind myself that I've seen it. I'm like, okay.
Okay,
yeah.
But he definitely does though, right? Like this guy's dead after falling.
Oh no, yeah, but I mean, but in the bit that makes it look like stabbing,
yeah.
I'm like,
but
oh,
I'm like,
you killed him.
You still killed the guy. I know he's like no second chances. I'm not sort of a man in that, but like, you know. I think it's very obviously it's like a very stark change to maybe just because we have watched them so close together to see the Doctor being like coward any day to then like next week being like woo and then like literally sword fighting a guy off the edge of a fucking spaceship, man.
He's like pitching a ball, playing rounders with the Sycorax. Then this Doctor, I mean, even when he falls like that's fine. Then he goes. They go back down to Earth. They go back down to Earth, and Jackie gives Jackie a hug.
She's
and I'm
quite
like,
immediately nice to him compared to how much of a dickhead she was to the Ninth Doctor.
Well, yeah, but she was also okay with the Ninth Doctor kind of when Rose sent.
Yeah, when he sent
Rose back. But also, this Doctor isn't as dickheadish as the Ninth Doctor is.
I also think
he's a lot more personable than Eccleston ever was.
I think it does a lot in terms of like visual presentation as well. You know, when you see like Eccleston and he's got his big boots on, his big leather jacket, his big shaved head, and it's like he looks unapproachable. Whereas like this guy, look at his like big silly, a bit more goofy face, militaristic. And pajamas. Yeah, he's like Arthur Dent, Hitchhiker's Guide, yeah, whatever the fuck. But this is when Harriet is like, take the shot, but she doesn't say it like that. Imagine if she did. Imagine if she's like, get tortured on the line, like really calmly, and she just doesn't want the Doctor to hear, and she turns around like as if that's gonna mute her, and she's like, take the shot, and then just turns back around, and the Doctor's like, what have you done? And she's like, what? No, me? Don't worry about it.
I didn't do anything. I think this is very calm for 10.
Yeah, you know what?
Considering what he would normally do later in the series when he's figured out how he wants to play it, someone making a shot like that, whilst yes, it makes him angry. Oh, he would have fucking yelled if this was a season and a half from now. This
feels so Time Lord Victorious to me.
I'll give you that.
It was like was my immediate thought when she's like, oh, what did you say? Like, what did you say, Doctor? And then she's going over to the other guy.
Cocky.
And like, what did he say?
It's very
and he doesn't even turn around. Like he doesn't even look at her.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to another thing of this scene in a moment, but this is why I think 10 is just my overall favourite. I think they're all like, whenever someone's like, what's your favourite Doctor? I'm like, I like them all for different reasons. I like I like that 9 is just this dude who is clearly got a horrible war and PTSD sort of thing going on. I like that 10 is an absolute egomaniac that has to be humbled at every turn until at one point he's humbled so hard that it kills him.
Yeah,
like, that's yeah, literally, like yeah. I love that as like an arc for each Doctor. Give them an arc. I like Matt Smith for the exact reason that you don't know that he is a child and the thing that kills him is old age. The thing that he learns is that he has to just grow old. He's not allowed to just be a kid forever. So suck a dick on that one, Katie. Suck a big fat cock. Then
speaking of big fat cocks, Peter Capaldi
all right,
is the next Doctor.
Yeah, and he's got this I have to be warmer to people sort of thing.
Am I a good man?
Yeah. And in the end,
he's the best man.
In the end, he gets killed in a really sort of normal way. And then Twice Upon a Time really fucks him on that.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah. I hate Twice Upon a Time.
If he just regenerated at the end of
Twice Upon a Time,
it would have been fine, right?
Every single part of the episode pisses me off.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry about it.
Let's go.
We'll get there at some point.
What's Jodie Whittaker's arc, Tyrese? Genuinely, I was drunk at the end of it. What?
Yeah,
What the fuck happened?
We were both drunk watching that, Katie. We have the video.
In my mind, Jodie Whittaker's arc is, oh yes, oh, I'm a bit socially awkward, and then the Seventh Doctor and Ace make up, and then shoot, you got one. David Tennant.
The arc for Jodie Whittaker is, I don't know how to be around people, even though I've done it for over a century, over a millennia, I guess, 1,000 years, because she's over 1,000 by that point, and she's like, I'm over 1,000 years old. I don't know people, and then what happens is she's like, they do a little bit of a. Oh, are you okay? Making inside noises.
The Doctor gets a girlfriend, and then she doesn't know how to handle it.
No, she doesn't, and here is why, and I'm sorry for the people that like this. There was twice, I counted, because I knew going in that her and Yaz had a thing, because I saw it online, and I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see how this relationship is built. I fucking hate Doctor Human romances, and so I'm watching it, and oh my god, my eyes are bleeding, because it's so fucking horrible, and then it goes on, and I'm like, I can't find, because there are so many characters, any actual romantically charged moments between these two.
Oh no, because there isn't.
And here's the thing, and you can fucking hate this all you want. Doctor Who likes to do this thing where they will just group people together. It's lovely and inclusive until you get to the end of 10 and they go, well, no, Clark and Freeman Argument are both people of colour. We'll put them together.
Yeah.
We'll marry them, even though she had a lovely thing with Tom Ellis.
Do you think any part of that is just we couldn't get Tom Ellis?
Possibly, but then they...
Oh yeah, like that's not, absolutely not like an excuse for it, but
you know who in a lot of Whittaker seasons get a lot of alone time? Yaz and Ryan. Far too much, far too often. They give those two a pass because they clearly were going to put them together, and then they were like, this isn't really... And so they don't.
Yeah.
They knew each other in school. It's a typical setup. I'm glad that it didn't happen. They would have been fucking awful together. And then after that, I counted 2 romantically charged moments between the Doctor and Yaz. And in one of them, it was the Doctor going, Yaz, I will live for so long. You will die so quick compared to me. And that's a conversation I've seen the Doctor have before anyway. It doesn't do anything for me.
That's the humans decay, you wither and you die scene. But worse. From School Reunion.
Yeah, I think what would have been my preferred way to give the Doctor a good old lesbian romance. Don't do a scissoring thing.
I wasn't.
You were. Don't fucking lie. Don't gaslight me on the show. Gaslight me outside of the show, it's fine. But like on the show, no. Is bring fucking... I know you can't because Timeless Child. Bring fucking River in for a bit and see how she reacts to that, because that would have been fine for me.
Well, that's what everyone wanted so bad that the fucking BBC deleted the tweet, right?
See what I'm... And that would have been okay, because not only do you get the whole... Oh,
you want a lesbian Doctor? She's got a fucking wife, bro.
Yeah.
She's got a fucking wife.
We have gotten very off topic. We'll talk about that later. You can have this whole rant back in a few years, and I'm sorry, what is it? Dasmin, Yocta. I know they call it Thasmin, don't they?
Thasmin, yeah.
Because the Doctor.
No, it's 13 in Yaz.
Oh, I hate that.
13 in Yasmin.
I don't like that.
No one calls...
What?
No.
Doctor.
No one calls Billy Piper and David Tennant toes, do they?
I fucking hate you. Oh, God. Toes. He liked toes so much that they rocked her. Hey. I'm sick.
So let's get right to the end. Back to the Tyler's flat.
No, because before this, when he talks to Harriet Jones, like, don't you think she looks tired? And then fucks off. Do you see how they fuck off? They go through that tunnel, don't they?
Yeah.
The TARDIS is parked next to it. They fuck off away from the TARDIS. You want to watch this? Because it's so funny.
Yeah, I'll just...
Okay, I'm going to pause and then It's so funny to me. Yeah, they just walk through the tunnel in the TARDIS.
Yeah, they do.
What's the point, you know? What is the point?
Right. So now, Christmas dinner.
Yeah, Christmas dinner, which the Doctor never usually stays for dinner, which is, I mean, that's fine. I don't have much for this scene. I mean, it's just a Christmas dinner.
It's kind of nice. I like it.
It's a little wholesome, but nothing really happens beyond that.
We get Song for 10 though.
Song for 10.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a huge. I'm like, all right.
I love Song for 10.
Do you?
Yeah, I really do. Like,
okay.
I think it's good. It's the
I don't know if I've even actually heard it all the way through. I've just heard the snippet.
You need to listen to it all the way through.
We'll do it after this because we're taking a break, aren't we, between this and the
It's the first song, by the way. It's first like original Doctor Who song since the last original Doctor Who song, which was The Greatest Show in the Galaxy rap.
I think I have heard that one though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God. Then, so what do you think of the Doctor's wardrobe? Do you want to go through what you have for that now?
Let's see what's in it.
You have a little trivia list of trivia for things in the wardrobe.
I didn't type this out, so I'm going to scroll and find
You fuckhead.
While rummaging his clothes in search of what should be his new look, the 10th Doctor passes through the 2nd Doctor's trousers and jacket, the 6th Doctor's waistcoat, and a burgundy scarf, which is the 4th Doctor's like leisure hive to Logopolis outfit. We also have the 3rd Doctor's cape from Terror of the Autons.
Yep.
The 6th Doctor's coat from Twin Dilemma and, everything else.
Yeah.
One of Stephen Taylor's jumpers from The Celestial Toymaker. The fucking mirror from Castrovalva. Here's an interesting one. The Kubla Khan's cane is leaning against the mirror from Marco Polo, which is one of the biggest lost episodes.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one. It's been novelized.
Is that a
and shit,
first or second Doctor story?
It's a first Doctor story. It's a very early first Doctor story as well, and I have read it, and it's good.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's one of the ones that I think there's been quite a few efforts to reconstruct as well. We've got the 7th Doctor's umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
The 6th Doctor's umbrella.
They both have different umbrellas.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
The 5th Doctor's hat is on the umbrella.
Yep.
Also the 2nd Doctor's hat. The 1st Doctor's hat. The 4th Doctor's hat.
All of the Doctor's hats.
Yep. And then it says here a 4th Doctor-like outfit. So
something the 4th Doctor would wear.
A kilt and the coat from the Doctor Who movie.
That's nice. That's cool. And then we mentioned earlier there's also the Casablanca costume, right? Casanova.
Casanova, yeah. There is also the Casanova outfit and a Hogwarts outfit.
It's like the neck furl type thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Casanova. I've seen the opening scene from Casanova, I think, where he falls.
I was going to say, I think everyone has, right?
Yeah, I think it was in one of his speech montages, and so I've seen that much of Casanova. And also, it was a nickname for me at an old job.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it shows. Not at all. So that what do you think of this is the only time we see another room in this TARDIS, right?
It is. It's fine.
Spare money, I guess. It must have just been a I don't like how topsy turvy it is. It's very Dr. Seuss. I'm just not a fan.
Yeah, I mean
it looks just completely, it's not user friendly.
One of the things about the TARDIS that I'm kind of about is that I'm fine with the console room changing, but then when the sort of bowels of the TARDIS also change.
I don't like how you said that.
Thank you. This is when we see the 11th Doctor stuff, when people go into the TARDIS, it doesn't look like this. They don't still have the round things on the wall. Is it a budget thing? Probably.
I think,
but I still don't like it.
When you get the corridors and stuff of the TARDIS and the 11th Doctor, it's just sort of like a placeholder. And also for set design, you go, here's one corridor.
Yeah.
Here's one corridor. We can just shoot on this one set, and all the corridors can quote unquote look like this because we can shoot easily. Yes.
Which I think is a very early Doctor Who thing.
Yeah. Then he does change into his signature thing, and then he fucking.
Do we have to talk about the outfit?
I mean, we can do that in another episode if you want.
Okay.
But I don't know. Oh, did you see the guest star at the end?
The guest star at the end.
Looker from Pokemon. Gotcha, bitch.
I don't like you very much.
Then there's a season 2 Big Guns Next Time trailer of here's what's to come.
I think that's a very exciting Next Time trailer.
It is.
It really is very, very good.
I'm just gonna say it now. That Next Time trailer is a 5 out of 5. What did you give this episode?
Didn't think about it until right now. I'll give this episode a 2.
I was gonna say either a 2 or 2.5. I was gonna put it middle of the road standard, but I think it just runs on. It runs on a little bit too long for me to, and it's not engaging enough for me to enjoy it as much.
Oh yeah,
so I'll give it a
I think
2.
that on paper, there is nothing I know that I've had criticisms of it, and I know I've said that there's things I don't like about it, and I know that those are personal things for me.
But if it is on, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's a fine episode of Doctor Who.
I want to say because I just want to say, because obviously we're going to do our wrap up of last season.
Yes.
After recording this, which is going to be weird.
Yes.
I don't think that yet we have encountered something that is explicitly bad Doctor Who wise.
No, I don't think so either.
And so when I do give things a low score or put things in certain place in the rankings, those are still very good pieces of media, regardless. So I'm always really being like, this is the bottom of my list. Yes, but everything on this list is so much, like, very much so
something
really good.
Just has to be the worst
that something
one, right?
has to be the bottom of that pile, yeah.
I feel like if there ever gets to a point of Doctor Who, that, you know, I say if, there will get to points.
Yes.
I think that you will be able to, like, as you know, like as a listener, I think you will know if we legitimately
are not enjoying
a thing into it. Yeah, because like I would count having like very little thoughts about an episode. I wouldn't necessarily count that as this is a bad episode.
No, I was worried about that with the Parting of the Ways, being like, what if when we record this we say so little because the episode is just doing so well.
Well, I think one of the other things as well is even if we don't get all of the notes down, we can at least talk about it from having watched the episode.
Yes,
like sort of the inside your brain memory, doing bits, you know. So
very much so. I obviously missed this when it first aired. You might have caught this on Christmas Day. Did you?
I wasn't allowed to.
That's not funny.
I wanted to watch it, but my mum was like, "You're not allowed to go and sit in the other room."
And watch Doctor Who on Christmas
So it
Day.
wasn't until The Runaway Bride when I took a tube of salt and vinegar Pringles and a bottle of Bucks Fizz, and at the time of my life watching The Runaway Bride.
I did watch The Runaway Bride on Christmas Day, I remember that. But I remember that was like my mother like actually told me. I didn't know it was on. She was like, Doctor Who's on today, and I was like, ah! And so I went and watched that as it aired on the day.
This was episode was on when we used to go to more people's houses on Christmas.
Around 6 p.m, I remember. 6-7 o'clock these would normally air.
Yeah, we used to when we were younger, we used to go to a lot more people's houses for Christmas, like family members and stuff. So it was on at the house that I was at, but I wasn't allowed to watch it because I had to be like social with the family.
Oh, I would just fuck off and watch it, me. That's at least how I did it.
The thing is, I'm scared of my mum.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm scared of your mum too.
I would be an all. She hits you with that, no way, and it's game over.
Yeah. Do you have any more trivia for us today before we close off this episode?
Technically, this is the second Doctor Who Christmas special.
What was the first?
The Feast of Stephen, which I want to say was either 64 or 65, possibly 66.
Ooh, so it's the first Doctor.
Oh, it was the first Doctor one. It was one of the episodes in Dalek's Master Plan, and this is another one. I've read the transcript, because it's also lost. Obviously,
yeah.
And it was a while ago, so I don't remember it specifically. But it involves the Doctor. I think it's the Doctor and Stephen, and maybe that's when fucking Sarah Kingdom's there as well. 1 second. Yeah. It's Stephen Taylor and Sarah Kingdom. And I believe they're like running through film sets and stuff, and then at the end of the episode, it's the thing. They're on the thing. Mr. William Hartnell turns to the camera and he goes, "And incidentally, a happy Christmas to all of you at home." And then
he breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, the Doctor
That's mad
wishes
shit, that.
wishes you personally.
Me?
You.
Just me.
You. Yeah.
Not you.
No, just you.
Just me.
He goes Tyrese.
Oh my god.
Tyrese Hogan in there was the line about the Doctor's accent changing to sound more like Rose, which is cut from the episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't notice.
But it's still in the novelization, and the thing with it being like, you know, like how baby chicks will like imprint on the first person like that, like he has Rose Tyler's like accent.
Oh, because she was
the first person he spoke to.
Yeah,
and that's one of those things that I'm kind of like, okay,
that would have made Matt Smith Scottish.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. But alright.
This was the first time a TV drama was allowed to film in the Tower of London. Like, on the top of the Tower of London.
Yeah, because those people were actually stood there, right?
Yeah.
I could tell.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would stick out like a sore thumb if they weren't.
Don't they do, like, a cut to, like, other places around the world as well?
Like,
and I'm like, I assume those are, like, stuff, CG. But
yeah, for the most part.
Yep. I didn't get this until I was reading it. And then I went, oh, that's clever. Which is when Rose is talking to the Sycorax, right? when she steps out the TARDIS.
And she's mentioning all the things that she has seen.
She does her list, and she goes, according to Article 15 of the Shadow Proclamation.
Has he said that yet?
When the Doctor is talking to the Nestine consciousness, he, says whatever, because of Convention 15 of the Shadow Proclamation.
And what does she say?
Article 15. And I like the idea, that she's kind of like, I know this thing. But, like, she just kind of doesn't.
Just kind of fucked it up a little bit.
Yeah, like, she's trying to remember and she's trying to do the Doctor thing. And it's like, oh, you know what? Like, what? Actually, that's kind of some kind of thing that I mean. But it's like, your heart was in the right place.
I don't like it when other people try to be the Doctor.
I don't like it when other people try to be the Doctor, but I think in this case it works because you can tell that Rose is fucking it up and she's nervous and she's freaking out.
If she did the Clara thing of the Doctor was never even real that she does in that season, I've just seen you go from haha Rose to oh fuck Clara right in front of me. I'm gonna put her face in every single thumbnail when we get there.
Do you know how much of a nightmare it's gonna be in
talking to you about Clara
when we talk about Face the Raven
with me and Clara in there? Ishilda, when you hit them both.
Fucked bird girl.
Okay, all right.
Also, the last little bit of episode trivia: the Doctor is revived by coffee in Planet of Spiders.
Well, okay,
that's like a similar thing.
Yeah.
So, haha. Do you want to know about aliens?
Yeah, sure. Sycorax.
Do you want to know about aliens?
Sycorax.
Yeah, here's a horrible thing. They have an endoskeleton and an exoskeleton. These bad boys have two skeletons.
I don't like that.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, sort of for no reason.
What's the point of that?
Exactly.
Extra bone marrow. Who need?
Okay. Yeah, no, here's the comic in question. It's called The Widow's Curse.
Yes, you were telling me about this earlier.
And like, I am absolutely going to go and like fucking
find this
read
somewhere.
It because this sounds insane. Because like, as much as I love comics, Doctor Who comics, like, I've not avoided them. I just haven't picked them up. Like, no reason why.
I've never seen them like make a big enough splash to be like, oh, I need to.
Yeah, I suppose.
Whoa. I can't imagine they're bad.
I remember a lot of them as well are like, compilations from Doctor Who magazine and stuff. And I think like because they're not necessarily, it's not like I can walk into Forbidden Planet and just be like, okay, here's like a trade of Doctor Who books. Yeah. I mean, like, I know they have those, but it's not how they've been doing things for long enough. So it kind of turns me off them a bit.
Yeah.
But Widow's Curse, this is the one. And apparently that whole comic deals with the ramifications of
this.
Yeah, of Harriet blowing up the ship, which is another thing that I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah,
to me. But apparently they ride horses as well.
Because they told that ship not to come back to Earth, but they didn't say it to any of the Sycorax, right?
That's the thing, right? So they're like tribal.
Yep. So that I mean, it just makes it does make a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, so this is a tribe. Like is this right here. Apparently it is, I have it written down, give me a minute. It's the Halvinor tribe specifically, but this comes from the like the visual dictionary, so it's like not really a reliable source canon wise.
Okay.
I just think it's cool, but they're all about like swords and knives and this kind of shit.
Very tactical, hand to hand stuff.
Yeah, very like warrior race.
Yeah.
Some of them have hair as well.
I don't like that.
I kind of do.
But
like these bony, muscly skeleton boys with their big swords and like
with
braids.
Your gay flicks. So it's a very primary school term. I remember that being. I wonder if people still say it. I hope not. Because I remember being like, "What, I did my hair," and they were like, "Oh, gay flick," and I was like, "Oh, I just did my hair."
I'd be like, "Yeah, and."
All right, whatever you fucking say, champ.
Yeah, they ride horses that look like them. Same, like, bony, skeleton-y.
Ew, no!
Right?
Oh, I thought you meant regular horses.
No, like horses that look like... Imagine...
Put it away.
One of these motherfuckers on, like, this, like, skeletal bone horse riding towards you with a sword covered in fucking trophies of all of its previous victims. These guys go hard as hell, and I'm just like, Russell T Davies, bring back the fucking Sycorax, man.
That's worse than Calamity Ganon. Sorry, I don't know why I said that, but carry on.
They wear the ribs of their wives as a marriage bond. Instead of a wedding ring, they're like, my wife's ribs.
Does that mean their wives are they surgery? Oh, I don't even want to.
Also, they were part of the Pandorica Alliance, and they were
Yes, I
present
remember
at
that.
the Siege of Trenzalore.
Yes, I also remember that too.
And here's one. Okay, so they did, the sort of like books, like the collected stories that they do.
Yes,
The 12
yeah.
Doctors of Christmas.
Oh.
It's obviously a Christmas one. It was the one, when the doctor's like, haha, Rose Tyler, red bicycle when you were 12.
Yeah.
I think that's the 9 story in that book.
Oh, okay.
But the 3rd Doctor story in that book involves the Sycorax, because it is set parallel to the events of this story.
Old Doctor, new villains.
Where the third Doctor, Joe Grant and Mike Yates,
are in 2005.
they're in 2006. It is apparently it's a definitive date.
Oh yeah, because she skips a year.
Yeah, and the stuff that takes place, like when Jackie is on Earth while everyone else is up on the ship. So they meet Jackie Tyler.
She meets 3
and Joe and Mike Yates, and apparently they don't get involved with the Sycorax stuff because they're too preoccupied with the Master.
The fuck?
Yep.
The Master's on Earth as well.
Yep. But
Just
that's
dicking about on
okay
Christmas.
because he gets stuck in some of the Roboform tinsel.
Is that everything you have, Katie?
I love Doctor Who. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that we have. So, actually, no, there you go. Again, from the Widow's Curse. There's one point where the leader guy, he says something in the language, and apparently it's his name. Like the comic alludes that is his name, and I'm probably gonna fuck it up. But he says Fadros Palujaka, like Fadros, which I can only assume is Fadros.
Yeah.
Pallujika.
Paludrika, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's this guy's name.
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Not much, but
This was 61 minutes of Doctor Who.
Yeah, but hey, we'll see you next week for new Earth. We Rewind everywhere.
Catch us on the internet at the places that you go on the internet.
Except Pornhub.
Exclusively Pornhub.
Oh fuck! Is that we're moving platform?
Doctor Who Rewind's exclusively.
Dr. Harwind on Pornhub.
Oh.
Oh, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.